I've used plugins for years, but I've been considering ditching my plugins for something better. I'll tell you why and what I'm considering using instead. After the discovery in the 80s that aerosols were destroying the ozone layer and the subsequent ban on HFCs, people were left looking for an alternative to aerosol spray air fresheners. In the 90s, Glade took the market by storm with their iconic Glade plugins.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Since then, a large variety of plug-in air fresheners have come onto the market. Many of the earlier models used a heated gel or pad to hold the fragrance, but soon most settled on a design similar to this Bath & Body Works Wallflower, a small container of fragrance oil that travels up a cotton wick, where a thermal element heats the oil to the point of evaporating and filling the air with the scent. It's a simple design that was a great innovation in the fragrance space at the time, but since then the technology has evolved a lot. I don't think plugins are bad or should be avoided. I think there are plenty of use cases where they do make sense. Plug-in air fresheners are one of the most available home fragrance options out there. They're really easy to find, they're relatively affordable, and they promise a low maintenance way to make your home smell pretty good. You just plug it in and forget about it for 30 days. But I don't think they should be the overall air freshener solution throughout your whole home. First of all, they have a fairly limited reach. You often can't smell these from the other side of the room, so if you want to fill the whole room with fragrance, you might need 2 or even 3 of these for a decently sized room. That price adds up. I also a lot of times have trouble finding space for these in my home. If I need 2 of them in my living room, those are going to take up precious outlet space that I'm going to need for other things. Plus, once you have the plug-in, you're really limited to the proprietary refill options that the company you chose has. Most of them only accept the branded refills, and those can get quite expensive. So let's look at some other options that I've been trying out. Reed diffusers have a similar scent effect to the plugins. They're constantly emitting a small amount of fragrance that gradually builds up throughout the room, but the scent radius isn't super wide. But I think they're better for a couple of reasons. First, they don't require electricity, so you can place them anywhere in the room. You can put them on a shelf, on a countertop, on a table. You can place them in places where traffic flows throughout your home without worrying about needing an open outlet. They're also reusable. You can reuse the bottle and the Reed diffuser sticks and refill with any Reed diffuser oil you want without worrying about compatibility. And it's modular, so you can change out the glass vessel with any jar or other glass container that you have that you might want to use this with, or you can get new Reed diffuser sticks. You can find them pretty cheap online if you want to add more or just change them out if they get clogged. You can really make it your own, and you can even make them on your own, and maybe I'll do a video on that sometime. I have a Reed diffuser that I keep in my bathroom because there's only one outlet in the bathroom and I need that outlet for other things. This one I've had for about a month and it's still a little over half full. A little trick I learned is that you can actually adjust the intensity and the spread of the scent by changing the number of reeds in the bottle. You just add a few more reeds if you want a stronger projection. That will use up the oil a little bit faster, but it can fill up a bigger space. They also look nice. A great way to elevate a shelf or a tabletop. Another option I've been exploring are ultrasonic diffusers. You've probably seen these around. They work by using high-speed vibrations to atomize water that the fragrance oil is suspended in. So you fill up the diffuser with water, and then add a few drops of your fragrance oil and turn it on. These diffusers generally do a pretty good job of filling up a space with scent. They're generally very affordable. You can find a lot of models under $20, and you can find them just about anywhere, online or in stores. And the great thing about these is that you can use any fragrance oil or essential oil you want. You can find fragrance oils at a variety of online and in-person stores, anywhere that sells aromatherapy supplies, essential oils, that kind of thing. The biggest downside to these that I've found is that you do need to refill the diffuser each time you use it. Once you fill it up, it'll last anywhere from a couple of hours up to even 12 hours, depending on the size of the diffuser and what intensity setting you have it at. So ultrasonic water diffusers are a good option for anyone looking for a scent on demand kind of situation, where maybe you just want the scent during your morning yoga, or you have guests coming over and you just want to fill the space with scent for a few hours. And since it releases water in the air, it does also increase the humidity of the room. Not a terrible thing, just something to keep in mind. And the final alternative I've been exploring are cold air diffusers. Cold air diffusers are one of the newer innovations in home fragrance. They're also called waterless diffusers because unlike the ultrasonic diffusers that we just talked about, They don't require any water. You just pour in only the undiluted fragrance, and because of this, these things can run for weeks or even months without any refilling. And again, you can use pretty much any fragrance oil you want with these, saving you money on proprietary refills and giving you almost unlimited scent options for your diffuser. But keep a careful eye out though. Some of these diffuser companies have started to make their machines compatible with only their overpriced scent refills. In my opinion, best to avoid those so you don't get trapped buying overpriced fragrance refills. There are models of cold air diffusers that will hook up to your HVAC system so that when the AC or the heat are running, they will disperse fragrance into your air ducts so that it goes throughout the whole house actually, which is very nice. But my concern with that is if you live in a temperate climate like I do, there's a good chunk of time where our HVAC is just completely off. And in those times, you wouldn't get any fragrance throughout your house with those systems. And while these do require power, I find that their powering options are generally a little bit more flexible. This specific model charges with a USB-C and actually is battery powered. So if you don't want to have it plugged in for a little bit, if you want to move it somewhere else for a few hours, you can do that. I like that it charges by USB because that gives me a lot of options for powering it. And I find that these units have decent sillage, meaning they fill the room with fragrance very well. So I only need one of these versus the 2 wallflowers that I mentioned earlier. It saves me a lot of headache finding power outlets and refilling wall plugins. This is actually the first model I bought, and it is a powerhouse. It really filled the room well with the fragrance, but the issue I found with this unit is the sound it makes. When it's atomizing the oil, it has a distinct humming sound from the fan and the pump inside. In my quiet living room, the hum was pretty noticeable. So I went searching for something a little quieter, and this is when I found the tower style diffusers that put the pump and the fans inside this metal tube that muffles the sound of those quite well. This one was quite a bit more expensive than the other one, but I do think for me it was worth the upgrade. And I do think that this machine is giving me a similar or even slightly better value than the plugins that I had before. This machine's doing the work that 2 wall plugins were doing before, and I got this fragrance oil for it from Vine Vita for about $14. Obviously, the machine itself is a very large upfront cost, so not a perfect solution for everybody, but I think that it will pay off and it'll be worth it. I've had this machine for a little bit over 2 months now, and I'm very happy with how it performs. It fills the room with scent well on its own, but I even place it next to the fan in my living room, and that really helps circulate the scent even beyond the room into the adjacent rooms of the house. So, do I think that you should throw away your plug-in wall air fresheners? Not necessarily. I kept mine and I put them in places like rooms or corners of the house that I don't go into very often. If you have a place that makes sense, I think you should use it there. But I do think you should keep in mind that there are other options out there that might work better for you and your space. I'm gonna make a video ranking all of the ways to make your home smell nice, so you can watch that right here. And if you don't mind, subscribe to the channel to make sure you catch all of the upcoming videos, and throw me a like if you feel compelled. That's always very much appreciated. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you later.